Welcome, Wapham crew, guys, gals, ghouls, and other worldly beings. Let's climb aboard the mothership, secure our tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, hold on loosely, as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. I'm your ghostess with the mostest, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and downloading or whatnot. Used to be able to listen live on Spreaker, but no longer. I wish there were a way to set it up through the other ones. I bet there is. I just gotta look into it, but yeah. I'm hoping they'll go back to live, so that way people can talk in the chat and ask questions and whatever else. Really hang out, you know what I'm saying? If you want to listen in your free time, whether you're working it, or working out, you can find me under We Are Paradox Media at Spreaker.com or wherever else you may listen to your broadcasts and podcasts. Alright, so this evening I figured we're doing story time or Reddit. I can't quite decide. But I'm thinking Reddit for 1,000 Alex. Alright, so I think we'll just go with the main page and pick up what's going on there. So the first one I'm coming to is a Reddit ghost story, and it's by Mojojo15. Don't whistle at night. My parents used to send my brother and I to spend our summer vacations in my dad's ranch in Mexico. We worked in the mountainside near the ranch house, and we would have our dinner in the main house, which was a mile walk up towards a rock-paved road up a hill. We often worked further up a mountain with a stream. After a long day of herding and fishing, we were making our way back towards the ranch. It was already dark, and my cousins and I were having a casual conversation. I don't know why I started absent-mindedly whistling. This caused a sudden reaction from my cousins and brother, who all stopped in silence to stare at me. I asked, "What?" It is when they all said to never whistle at night, I asked, "Well, why not?" My older cousin explained, "When you whistle at night, the devil whistles back." I rolled my eyes at this. I never believed in ghosts or anything like that as a kid who enjoyed watching horror movies, so being an annoying little brat, I started whistling again. I saw that it genuinely spooked them out. One of my cousins even ran up the hill ahead of us. I laughed at them and kept whistling until they all left me behind. Finally, all alone, I made my way up the hill. All I could hear was the wind and the sound of croaking toads, until eventually I hear a whistle. Thinking of this, I think it's one of my cousins messing with me. I did it. I whistled back, and the hair on the back of my neck stood up because I suddenly heard the whistle again. This time right behind me, so close it was like whoever was whistling was only inches right behind me. I don't know what it was that told me not to turn around, but I didn't, and I decided to pick up my speed. I could already see the lights of the house and hear the voices of family. When I heard it again, the whistle and the sound of hooves on the rock road, I decided to run and yelled for my brother. He came running outside, and I ran into the house, blubbering about what I had heard. I never turned around, and my brother said he saw nothing, but he did admit to me years later that he heard the sound of hooves, which alerted him to go check outside, thinking one of the horses had gotten loose. Let's go on down to the comments. We have _Mitt, who says, "Spooky, but it's true. Don't whistle in the woods or rural areas at night. Not just because of potential ghosts and ghouls, but also because local wildlife might become alert to you." No dash lie forever said, okay, I'll buy that your brother heard something too, but horses don't whistle. Could have been two separate creatures, one bird and one deer, maybe or not. Glad you all got back safely. Dimension Particular just has a bunch of worried eyes, worried faces, emojis. Abiodio said, lucky it did not touch you, and happy for you, you did not turn back to look behind. Never look back. Just like in scary movies, don't run up the stairs or downstairs or whatever. Like, if you can't get out a door, jump your ass out a window. Come on, man. But then, that make the scary movie shorter. But yeah, don't whistle at night. I've heard this from several different places. I'm trying to think if I ever even tried whistling at night, but I don't believe I have. Oh no, this one's family drama. Should we skip it? Let's skip it. Reddit True Scary Story. I stopped a home intrusion by sneaking out. So, me and my friend, who we are going to call H, had plans to sneak out one night on the weekend at 1 a.m. At about 11:30 p.m., I heard a knock on my bedroom window. I don't think it was the wind because it was like a rhythmic knock, like how you would knock on a door, so that was weird and kind of creepy. When I finally sneak out, I bike over to me and my friend's meeting spot. I wait there for 45 minutes. H doesn't come. He later tells me that he accidentally fell asleep, so thinking he won't come, I head back home. I go to my driveway and park my bike. When I let down its kickstand, it makes a noise as it hits my driveway pavement. As that happens, this motion-activated light in my backyard turns on and I hear 2 sets of footsteps running towards the alley. I also hear a deep male voice said, "Come on, let's go." I'm scared because I'm a teenager and there are 2 grown-ass men probably trying to break into my home, so I drop my helmet and run inside. Well, lucky nothing happened to you. Over_it said, "That's terrifying. I'm glad you're okay." My new coworker wants to kill me. This is by Donovan221. I've been at my job for 5 long years now, and that's 5 years of loyalty, sweat, and tears that I've poured into this company. I know all the bells and whistles and honestly probably have the wherewithal for a managerial position. That's where I thought I was headed. Hell, that's where I had fully convinced myself I was headed. It was a fleeting consideration in my mind. No, in my mind the position was already secured. Everything was just fine until he showed up. Showed up and wrecked everything. His name was John Lawrence. John fucking Lawrence. The most basic name you can think of. They hired him directly after his interview in the interview room. I still remember how my managers laughed and threw their arms around his shoulders as they all walked out together. This made me uneasy and rattled my confidence in my position for a moment. I shook the feeling off, though, and regained my composure. This was a task in and of itself, however, because, my God, the sight of him made me shake with rage. Turning to my computer, I tried to focus on my spreadsheets, but that laughing just would not stop. It could not have been that funny, I know, because I'm funny, and I'd never made anyone laugh like that before. To my absolute dismay, my managers had the audacity to sit him in the cubicle directly behind me, where I could pretty much feel the hot breath that radiated from his laughing mouth. They sat and chatted behind me for what felt like hours, making it impossible for me to focus on my work. Absent-mindedly, I began to doodle on some old paper that was due to be shredded by the end of the day. I let my imagination run wild, doodling a character I deemed New Guy, kissing the boot of another character I deemed Boss Man. I lost track of time, and before I knew it, it was lunchtime and the chitter-chatter from behind me had ceased. Thankful that I had finally found peace and quiet, I was just about to really zero in on my assignments when I felt a hand on my shoulder. I looked up, and guess who I saw? My fucking manager. Who stood behind him? Who else but John, of course. I barely had time to register what was happening before my manager spoke. "Donovan, how you doing today, buddy?" I'd opened my mouth to respond and was cut off. Good. Hey, listen, we're gonna need you to send those spreadsheets over to John for us before you go to lunch, alright? I could not believe my ears. These spreadsheets that I had crafted with my own two hands. I had to just send them on over to John so that he could, what? Take a wild guess at how they work. But these are, I was cut off again. Perfect, enjoy your lunch, kiddo, be back at 2. I sighed begrudgingly before asking John for his email address. As he wrote it down, I stared at him. I knew he knew something I didn't. He had to be in on some kind of scheme. We had to know something about the company that the big guys didn't want to get out. Why else would he just be let on like this? I applied 4 separate times before they finally gave me a mailroom position. I clawed my way to this cubicle and was still clawing, only for this corporate porcelain doll to wander in and be seated directly behind me. Steal my spreadsheets. "Thanks, buddy," he beamed. "I look forward to working together." He extended his hand towards me, but I refused to shake it. My pride wouldn't allow it. His face didn't drop even a single inch. He just stood there, continuing to smile as he retracted his hand. "Listen, man, I get it," John continued. "It's been a long day, but hey, 5 o'clock's coming, right?" He slapped me on the shoulder before walking away to catch up with my manager. I boiled with rage. Rage that had to be covered by a forced corporate smile. What was this man up to? I spent my lunch break filled with sorrow as I sent the files over to John one by one. My manager returned, John still by his side, and they both stopped at my cuticle once more. "You get those spreadsheets sent over?" my manager asked. "Yep, every last one," I replied. "Awesome. Now, hey, listen, I want you to teach John the ropes around here, all right? You've been here, what, 3 years ago?" 5, I replied, offended. "Great, even better. I need this guy to be top-notch by the end of the week. We have a board meeting coming up." "Board meeting? What board?" "Oh, just, I don't know, kid, manager things. Listen, all you need to focus on right now is training John. Can you do that for me?" I agreed begrudgingly, and my manager briskly walked away without thanking me. Me and John sat in silence for a few moments before he finally spoke. "So, you've been here 5 years, huh? And you're still at this cubicle?" He asked in such a condescending tone, I almost had to do a double take to make sure I was hearing him right. "Say that again?" I demanded. "Oh, I don't mean anything by it. It's just 5 years is a long time, I blinked twice before responding. "Yep, sure is, isn't it?" "Ever gone to any of the board meetings?" he asked. No, I had not, but I sure as shit wasn't gonna let him know that. "Oh yeah, I think we all do at some point." John smirked, eyeing me as though he knew I was lying. "Really? Damn, here I was thinking I was special for getting to attend this upcoming one." Gritting my teeth, I finally snapped. "Believe me, you're not as special as you think." "Come again?" John replied. "Nobody is, man. This company doesn't reward you for hard work, it rewards you for relationships. That much is clear." His response broke something within me. "Things not going your way today, buddy? You've been kind of rude to me, don't you think?" I I didn't respond. Instead, I handed him a stack of papers that needed disposing and pointed him the direction of the shredder. His brief absence brought me serenity and flinching relief. Relief that was short-lived, however, when he returned a few moments later. He wore a different smile now. This smile was more devious, more spiteful as he marched back to the cubicle. He didn't say anything, just stared down at me with that mischievous grin before placing a paper in front of me. "Does this look familiar to you?" he questioned. "Yep, it did." "Which part?" I replied. "The new guy or the boss's boot? I'm not sure if I got the dimensions down all the way." John chuckled as he snatched the paper. He crumpled it up and tossed it nonchalantly into my own trash can. He stared at me for a moment, his smile never fading. Just as I was beginning to feel really uncomfortable, he leaned towards me and whispered something in my ear that I'll never forget. With the calmness of a butterfly's wings and the icy chill of an avalanche, he whispered to me, "I will destroy you." He punctuated the last word with a pat on my back before he walked to his own cubicle behind me, whistling as he did so. Whatever, I thought to myself, not like I've never heard that one before. With 2 hours left in my shift, I decided it best to just get as much work done as possible before the end of the day. I didn't want to get myself in trouble by being deemed too emotional to work. I put my head down and chiseled away at the dwindling pile of work that I needed to complete before the end of the week. As I became entranced by my work, I felt that dreaded hand on my shoulder once more. This time, however, my manager was angry rather than dismissive. "Mr. Meeks?" he bellowed. I stared up at him, curious and concerned eyes. "Yes," I murmured. "Mind telling me why those spreadsheets you sent to John are absolutely incorrect and totally useless?" His face twitched as he said this, and his face began to glow red. He had to be mistaken, though. This was my life for 5 years. I knew how to create a fucking spreadsheet. "That's just not true," I rebutted confidently. "I spent hours on those spreadsheets. I triple-checked each one." Like a serpent rising from the sea, John stepped out from his cubicle and whispered something to my boss from behind a folder, glaring at me over its edges. "Is that right?" I heard the manager ask. "Were you doodling on company time, Mr. Meeks?" No, enough," John interrupted. "Listen, Donovan, it's clear you're having a long day. I'll tell you what, if it's okay with Steve here," he gestured toward my manager, "I think it'd be best if you went home for the day, relax a little. It's almost quitting time anyway. I'll take over on those spreadsheets and make sure they're correctly." To my utter amazement, my manager nodded in approval, shaking his head and stumbling over his own words, telling me to clock out for the day. "This is an art class," he snapped while John nodded in agreement behind him. "If you want to draw, do it on your own time. That is not what I'm paying you for." I couldn't speak. I was too humiliated. I just stood up, gathered my things, and headed to the door. As if adding insult to injury as I was making my exit, John threw in one final jab. "See you tomorrow, buddy. Feel better." I went home that day defeated, embarrassed, deflated. I'd pretty much kissed that position goodbye on my way out the door, but I wasn't going to go down so easily. I was going to show them exactly why they needed me, why it was a mistake to overlook me. Those thoughts gave me quite the confidence again, inspired me to tackle a new day. That new day arrived and I drove to work anxiously, ready to prove myself. When I arrived, however, I found that John had arrived before me. He stood by his cubicle, surrounded by some of my office buddies, while he told a story about some fishing trip in Alaska. It was like he had them in a trance. No one spoke but John. The rest just stared up at him in sheer awe. I rolled my eyes and sat my stuff down at my desk. I wasn't gonna take it today. I was just gonna work and keep my mouth shut. No distractions. As I sat down, I felt a sharp pain in my behind, causing me to jump from my seat and let out a yelp. Reaching down, I found that a tack had been lodged deep in my butt and was still stuck there. With the prying eyes of John and all of my work buddies on me, I slowly removed the thing from my seat of my pants, wincing in pain as it glided out. There was silence for a moment before John shouted, "Someone already being a pain in the ass for you today, Donovan? Morning just started, buddy. Come on now." Laughter erupted from the circle as John stared at me, smirking smugly. Didn't acknowledge him. I could not allow myself to give him any more power. I sat at my desk and began typing away at my keyboard. John didn't bother me much this day, well, not directly. I know now that he was actually spreading rumors about me to my colleagues. Not even juicy rumors, mundane rumors. By the end of the day, my coworkers were side-eyeing me, hiding their phone chargers and reminding me that food in the fridge belongs to whoever's name is on it. I'd never been accused of either of these things before. I knew it was John's doing. Annoyed, I approached him. I demanded to know why he was spreading these rumors and why he was attempting to sabotage me. "I already told you why, remember?" That's all he said, all he allowed me to know. "Over a stupid drawing? What do you want, man? An apology? Fine. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry that I drew you for what I saw you as. Truce?" John chuckled, that nails on the chalkboard laugh that seemed specifically designed to push my buttons. "Truce. There is no truce. There's no truce because there's no competition. Now get the fuck away from my cubicle, you little food thief." "Okay, you little fucker, you want a war? You got one." I plotted my revenge for the rest of the day, revenge to make his petty prank look just like what they were, petty little pranks. The idea hit me just before quitting time, the perfect idea, perfect foil to John's plans. I went home that night with burning hatred in my heart and my mind racing at 1,000,000 miles a second. I had to prepare. The next day I made sure to arrive at work an hour earlier than usual. I had to make sure I was there before that bastard. When I got there, I was thrilled to find the parking lot empty. For a little petty revenge, I decided to park my car where John had been parking. 'Cause fuck him, that's why. My 10-year-old Kia Optima parked in place of his 2025 BMW was almost payback in and of itself. Almost. When I entered the building, I hurried straight towards John's desk. His cubicle had already been decorated with photos of him hunting, some selfies taken from mountaintops, and some scattered awards from his high school days. I couldn't help but laugh at this. "Peaked in high school, huh, Johnny boy?" I thought out loud. After laughing at my own joke for a bit, I finally got to work. I set up the thumbtacks, I turned his pictures around, and stretched the tape across the bottom of the opening of his cubicle. Oh, but these were just appetizers, my friend. The meat and potatoes were soon to come, but for now, I had to wait. I sat at my cubicle anxiously awaiting 8 o'clock. 7:50 rolled around, and in came John and all his corporate asshole glory. It was time to take action. Before he could reach his cubicle, I gestured him over towards me. "Look, man," I said meekly, "we got off on the wrong foot. I don't want any problems, okay? You stop your game, and I promise you'll never hear from me again." As I spoke, I extended my gifts to him. 1 laxative lace shortcake, a shaken-up soda, and a fork brought from home. "My treat," I exclaimed politely. John stared at the gifts blankly, refusing to accept them for a time. He stared for an uncomfortable amount of time, and for a moment there I grew nervous. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he spoke. Spoke in a voice so cold it could freeze the Sahara sand. "Right. Let me ask you, do you think I'm fucking stupid? What? You? No, John, never. I just wanted to be the bigger person is all. All right, he replied with a smirk and a cocked eyebrow. We'll see. With that, he took my gifts from my hands and marched to the break room without a single word. He'd only been gone for no more than 5 minutes when my manager entered through the front door. He seemed to be in a hurry and he was craning his neck to look at John's cubicle. Where's John? He asked. Break room, I responded. Good, go get him. There's an important announcement I want to make when everyone gets here. With a quiet sigh, I got up from my desk to go retrieve John. However, when I entered the break room, he was nowhere to be found. I could hear water running in the nearby bathroom, and I walked inside to find the man himself staring in the mirror as the faucet flowed freely. His face was blank. He looked like he was looking through himself rather than at himself. The shortcake and soda sat on the sink untouched. John? I called out to no response. Steve needs you. Said he has an announcement. John finally turned to face me, and his blank face never faltered. He simply stared at me and whispered to himself, according to plan. Together we walked out of the bathroom and back to the office. As if on cue, John's face shifted back to that charismatic look of corporate America as he greeted the manager. Steve's face lit up with glee at the sight of this man, a look that I had never experienced in all of my half a decade spent in this place. Well, if it isn't the man of the hour, he exclaimed. Sit tight. I want everyone to be here for this. One by one, co-workers began filing in. Once everyone arrived, the boss huddled us all in a circle to make his announcement. As we all know, he bellowed, there is a managerial position that had opened up a few weeks ago. I say was because, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to your new manager. He gestured to John, and the crowd erupted with claps. Everyone but me applauded. Less than a week. He had been here for less than 1 fucking week. John, that cunning little fuck, acted surprised. Acted like he didn't see it coming. He fucking saw it coming. I knew for a fact he did. Gee, guys, I'm not sure what to say, John gasped exaggeratedly. This is truly amazing, seriously. Just say you'll take the job, my manager prodded. You've earned it, man. Great work on those spreadsheets. Remarkable work, even. You know what, Steve? John replied. I'll drink to that. And just like that, the series of events that have now put me at the top of John's hit list began to unfold. Once John opened his soda, the contents sprayed directly into his face. He stumbled backwards, disoriented, and tripped over the tape I had set up. He ended up landing ass first on top of the dozen thumbtacks that I had placed in his chair. This caused him to jump up in pain, howling as he did so. He stumbled forward this time, tripping over the tape again, and face planted right into that beautiful, beautiful laced delicacy I had prepared for him. Utterly fucking priceless. He just laid there, wallowing in his own misery as all my coworkers stared on in horror. Everyone but me. I, for one, could not contain the laugh that was clawing its way out of my throat. My snickers turned into actual giggling, and before I knew it, my coworkers were joining in too, laughing at the spectacle John had made of himself. Humiliated, John got himself to his feet. His face was beet red and covered in frosting and strawberries. Without so much as a word, he huffed towards the bathroom while my manager tried to calm everyone down. I wasn't finished, though. I was ready to twist this knife. Unnoticed, I slipped away from the hysterical crowd and followed behind John to the bathroom. When I entered, I found him back in the position from earlier, staring in the mirror with his expressionless look on his face. I was just about to start monologuing, about to begin my whole villain speech. However, before I could do that, he turned to me, and that burning resentment in his eyes was enough to make me hesitate long enough for him to speak before me. "I hate you," he whispered softly. "What was that? I can't hear you with all that on your face." There was no usual John chuckle, no smirk. Instead, he simply turned to me and began punching himself in the face, socking himself over and over and drawing blood from his nose and lips. I tried to step in to intervene, but as soon as I moved closer, he began to scream, "Someone get in here, Donovan's assaulting me." In that moment, I felt my whole world shatter. John continued to punch himself until break room door opened and footsteps could be heard rushing towards the bathroom. In one final swift motion, John slammed his face hard against the sink, and I could hear teeth shattering as he slumped over to the floor. The bathroom door shot open, and Steve found me standing over John, who lay before me in a crumpled mess on the floor. His eyes went from John directly to my own, and I could see the rage building in his face. "Get the fuck out of my building," he demanded. "But I didn't. Now, before I call the fucking police." That was enough for me. I was out of there before he could even blink. I drove home in silence. I knew the police would be paying me a visit regardless, but what I didn't know was how I was going to explain this. I got home and waited a day, 2 days, 3 days, no sign of police. No call from a detective, nothing. Who did contact me, however, was John. I guess he had access to employee phone numbers from his new managerial position. He texted me one night in the middle of the night. He informed me that there were no charges that were going to be pressed. Let me know that he thought prison would look like charity compared to what he had planned for me, and then sent me my full address all in one message. I'm writing this now because, well, he's been watching. A certain 2025 BMW M5 has been lurking around my neighborhood late at night, staying within view of my house, flashing its headlights through my living room window. He wants me to know he's here. He wants me afraid. And as much as it pains me to admit, I am scared shitless of John fucking Lawrence. I would be too, I think. Let's see. This is by Two Hot Takes. Oh, it's an Am I the Jerk? I, female 28, am married to my husband, male 30, who has a son from his previous relationship. Stepson is 8 years old, and I've been in his life since he was 11 months old. My stepson has only been to my grandparents' house once, when he was very little, and from what I recall, it was a calm, uneventful afternoon. When COVID happened, my grandparents erred on the side of caution, which resulted in excluding my stepson due to the petri dish of germs at daycare. Completely understandable. However, over the years, my grandma found new and different reasons to exclude stepson from family gatherings. With this most recent family gathering being planned, she said, "Stepson cannot come since there is too many breakables in the house." Being around SS a lot more, my brother, male 29, and my dad, male 57, all vouched for SS, saying that SS is very well behaved and will not be a problem. My brother said he would even make it his personal duty to run around and play with stepson outside if he had energy to burn off, but my grandma still said no. Although my grandma's decision upset me, I did not want to push the boundaries that she has set in her own household. Even though I know stepson won't be a problem, I don't want to piss my grandparents off and disrespect them, especially in their late life. My husband stated he will no longer be attending if SS cannot come, which is reasonable. However, I decided I'll still attend without them because I don't see my grandparents often, and I don't know how many more opportunities I'll have left. My husband wishes I'd stay home, but also understands. Well, my dad could not drop it. He stewed on it for several days, and I ended up sending a message to my grandma that SS should be included because he's my family and well behaved. He claimed my grandma was treating me as a second-class citizen and disrespecting my family. My grandma got pissed and canceled the whole family get-together after that. I feel touched that my dad and brother would stick up for my small family unit, but I have mixed feelings about pushing the boundaries people set in their own homes. I just wanted to keep the peace and everyone feels bitter, and of course we don't tell SS any of this. So basically, Grandma doesn't want stepson coming to the family get-together. I respect her boundaries. Since she's hosting, my dad called her out on excluding my family, my grandma, and got pissed and canceled the whole get-together. I don't think you're the asshole, and you were even willing to go. But yeah, it's not right. I don't think I could have in good conscience gone. Maybe stop by and drop a pie or something, and then, say my goodbyes and go spend it with my family. Because that is her family. They should be number one. It sounds like your father and brother care more about defending your family unit than you do. What? Negative Juggernaut 62 said it's all this misplacement of being respectful of boundaries. Boundaries based on what? I'm rejecting a child because he's not blood related? Grandma has shitty values, and regardless of her age, her family is right to call her out on it. I hope your husband can forgive you for your lack of integrity. Ooh. Shosh PD. Totally agree. Of course, Granny had right to set boundaries over who is allowed at her home, but if her boundaries are based on shitty, hateful reasons, the way you respect the boundary is refusing to go as long as she is being a shitty, hateful person. Yep, Granny can have boundaries, and so can OP. They are not mutually exclusive. Zombie said, growing up, I did not know that my dad was not my real dad, and therefore, I was not blood related to his entire side of the family. They knew, and they treated me like I wasn't one of them. Christmas would come, and all the cousins would get presents, and I would get some socks and a card. I was judged and othered to every turn. I didn't know why I was being treated differently, but I knew that I was. It really fucked me up. I can't believe there are mothers out there that are okay with a kid feeling like this and don't care to stand up for their kids. Seems like maybe OP also low-key participates in making the stepson feel like he doesn't belong, even if the rest of the family doesn't. Well, she even said he doesn't know about it. Alright, well, it's a shitty situation all around, but that's family. Seriously, that boy came into that family at 11 months old, and they're willing to just toss him aside? Granny's gnarly, man. But yeah, stop by, give Granny a kiss and a pie, and then go with your family, your true family. Alright. Oh, two-sentence plot twists. He discovered his wife's diary and read every page, bracing for the worst. Terror fell upon him as he read the last entry. Stop reading my stuff, David, and go take out the trash. Gotcha. That's funny. That's a good one. Ghost stories. This one is by LizzieBooIsYou underscore 0331. My stepfather was haunting my house. So I, 39 female, was very close to my stepfather before he passed away. My mother and him had been together since I was like 11 years old. He was an alcoholic, but he was a very caring person, and I hated when he would be drinking, but when he was sober, he was a great person. After years of him quitting drinking for a few months and then starting back again, I guess my mom and I just gotten fed up with it, so she left him. Also, I should note that he had a lot of medicinal issues from the years of drinking. His doctor had already told him that his next drink could be his last. Anyway, so my mom left him. About a week after she had left him, I was at work. I worked at a restaurant at that time, and my husband had came in to bring me lunch that night. While my husband was there with me, and I was having my lunch, my stepdad called my husband's cell phone and was wanting to talk to me. I was at work and my husband said he sounded like he had been drinking, so I told my husband to tell him I am busy and I would call him back the next day. I didn't want to talk to him while he was drinking. Well, the next day I was at work again and I got a phone call from my mom telling me that my stepdad had passed away the night before. I was so upset because the last time he called me, I refused to talk to him because he was drunk. I still live with that regret, but about a week later, my mom was cleaning out their house because she was no longer living there and she had given me their old couch. It was a great couch with recliners on both sides, a pull-down table with cup holders in the middle, and it had a lamp on it too. It was just a great couch. The left side of the couch was my stepdad's side, and he always sat on. No one would sit on that side because everyone knew that was his side. Well, we got the couch put up at my house. Another thing I should tell you is he always was watching the news or the sci-fi channel, always. Well, about a week after bringing that couch in my house, the weird things started happening. First thing was the TV would always be set either on the news or the sci-fi channel. We keep the TV on for our dogs to have noise when we are asleep or not home. We would leave it on I Love Lucy or Andy Griffith, and when we came back, it would be on the news. Then one day I was standing in front of his side of the couch folding clothes when all of a sudden the recliner came out on his side by itself. It freaked me out so bad. The doors would close by themselves. One day I came home to my stereo on playing the rock music that he always listened to. All of this weird stuff happened on almost a daily basis until we got rid of that couch when we moved. I honestly believe it was my stepdad's spirit and he was just doing what he always did in life. Like he didn't realize he had passed away, so what do you think about this? It's funny that he's attached to a couch, but I guess that was his life, drinking and watching TV. Let's see. I wonder how the people who received the couch or took the couch home, if they have a haunting now too. Mother Mucker 155 said, I don't really know what you should do about this, but it's a fascinating story. Separate Permit 9770 said, hello, I'm sorry for your loss. Is this still happening? Is he still there? Lizzie Boo says, I don't know, we moved from that house and no longer have the couch, but he may still be in that house. I know that no one has lived there since we moved out. I have been trying to find the video I have of the door closing by itself that my surveillance camera captured at that time, but I can't find it. If I do, I will add it to this thread. Sonia 30360 says, sounds like he was just keeping his routine. At least he wasn't a gnarly, violent poltergeist or something. That would have really bit. True scary stories. My one and only demonic experience. Spooky by Cosmic Orphan 2020. Before I share this experience, I just need to throw something out there. I mostly use Reddit to post fictional horror stories I've written. However, I do also occasionally post my own true scary stories. But to make the following paranormal experience of mine a little more credible, I've chosen to just write out without caring how good or structured the writing is. Although I can't remember the exact year, it was either 2016 or 2017 when I was most likely 16 years old. Been living in the Republic of Ireland for just under 3 years, having moved from England. My family and I lived in the Midlands in a very small town. During my teenage years, because of how depressing my life was, mostly due to hating school, I regularly began believing and praying to God, naively thinking if I did, He would magically make my life better. Well, it was during this spiritual phase that I came upon a certain YouTube video. The video was about a man who had apparently been brought to Jesus, by Jesus, to hell, and while he was there, Jesus showed him all kinds of eternal horrors. From what I can remember, the man saw the souls of people being tortured and burned alive by demons or something. Well, after experiencing this, the man then wakes up in his bed as though from a dream. However, the man claimed what he experienced wasn't a dream at all, but a real experience of what happens to sinners in hell. Although I didn't know what this man experienced was real or not, it definitely made me terrified of ever spending eternity in the fiery depths of hell. However, not long after watching this video, I suddenly felt very unsettled. Not because of the video I just watched, but to my memory, I almost felt as though I was now being watched, while supposedly alone in my bedroom. But not only did I feel like I was being watched, I also felt like I was somehow in danger. So much so that I leave my room to go downstairs, as that's where my parents and sister were. Now, what comes next is the real scary part of this experience. Because as soon as I reached down the stairs, before I could enter any room, I felt a hard physical tap on the back of my shoulder, where I then literally turned around and screamed. No word of a lie, I screamed, but when I turn around, there isn't anyone or anything there, as though a ghost had tapped me on the back. Also worth mentioning is that I had screamed so loud that my mom was now shouting me from the living room, asking what was wrong. For the rest of that evening, I remember being very afraid and skittish, that every noise or movement I heard had me incredibly paranoid. In fact, I was so skittish that whenever my dog, who was still just a small puppy at the time, came up to me, I was afraid of her touching me. Living in this house for only a few months before moving, I never had another experience like this one. Nor have I since, although I've always been a fan of scary stories, real and fictional. I basically know little to nothing about demons or ghosts, as I find aliens and cryptids a lot more interesting. I'm not sharing this story to prove it was a real paranormal experience, maybe it wasn't, but if there's anyone reading this who knows anything about demonic experiences or similar experiences of the supernatural, I would really like to hear your thoughts. Who knows? Maybe the whole thing was just a psychological reaction from watching a video about hell being real. However, after sharing this story, I do have to admit something, for the sake of being honest. I do also believe I had a real UFO experience when I was around 11, which I've already written about. No joke, I saw an actual flying saucer from my bedroom window. I already know mentioning this UFO experience doesn't help my credibility regarding my alleged demonic experience, but at least I'm being honest and not holding anything back. Whether you believe that I had a demonic experience or not, if you don't, that's fine. If anyone can help me out with that, and what I experienced, even if the whole thing was most likely psychological, I would really like to hear your thoughts. Also, for anyone wondering why I haven't shared this story sooner, since I've already written about my other scary experiences. I think it's just because I already wrote about my UFO experience and doubted anyone would believe I also had a demonic one. Anyways, thanks for reading. Well, it's funny you say that because, in my experience, a lot of those things are related. Mine started off with paranormal experiences and then, had a couple, could be demonic. One for sure was pretty wicked, but I had sleep paralysis both of those times. And then in 2012, I saw my first UFO. Even though I had always believed in them, I had never witnessed them, but believed because my dad believed. And yeah, so it's funny how all of those things kind of huddle up or sit on people's shelves. The same people having the same three experiences. It's pretty interesting. The supernatural, paranormal, is not natural or normal. Or is it? I don't know, for me it is. Anywho's, on that note, boys and girls, we are going to go to our first music break. And on this break, we are going to California. So, we have Miss Tracy Cruz, and I wrote this down, hold on. I looked all this stuff up, so I don't want to just waste it. Okay. Tracy Cruz is from Oakland, California, and she's going to be singing Flowers and Candy. Oh, hold on. As well as Joyful Rain. And then we have Fred Johnson III from, I've been saying Canyon County forever, and then as I was looking through all this stuff, I guess it's Canyon Country. And I even had to Google it and make sure a place like that exists, and it does. So, sorry, Fred Johnson III. But he's going to be singing Sugar. And then we have Fluid from, where was it? Union City, California with I Love It. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
When I met you, my life changed. Your love rained all over me. It was blissful, so special, essential. Life poetry, true beauty. We created, we made it. Reality, pure affection with expression. A connection was meant to be. You make me feel so good inside, like therapy for my mind. You make me feel so good inside. It was changes moving through every day. Yeah. And I don't even know what we're fighting for. Our brighter days turn to sleepless nights. Our loving ways have turned to endless fights, and we can't seem to compromise. We try so hard to make things right. Yesterday. You are my life. Now what is really happening? Changes are moving through everything. Changes. I will accept you for who you are, all your flaws and your scars. Because I love you too much to let you go. You help me grow. I will accept you for who you are, all your flaws. Because I love you too much to let you go. You help me grow. I will accept you for who you are, all your flaws and your scars. Because I love you too much to let you go.
Waiting here on this cold, lonely night without you. The tension's overbearing. Wondering, are you coming back home again? To inspire fondness with love. Where did our love go wrong? My sugar. Why did I make you cry? Whispers flow through my mind when I think about you. That
left hand. I'm ballin', making buckets back to back like I was Stefan. Better yet, I'm Phil Jackson, so don't treat me like the next man. And I'm kind of a real big deal, so don't be out here second guessing. Anyway, I make my pay and live this California lifestyle. Sunshine, loud packs, and chicks that love to get wild. That's how we do it every day. Slipping, sliding through the traffic on a mission for the day. Clearing marks about my way. Really got no time for y'all today. And all the craziness y'all talk, but never get your story straight. See me out here living great. I don't give a about a whole that hates. And when it comes to kicking game, I give you all that you can take. Trying to do it big, got no complaints. Every morning eating steak. They say I'm wrong for showing out, but I'ma do it anyway. Plus and thing ain't nothing bitch, cause I can do it any day. And it don't matter where I go, I always represent the yay. I'm so in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. Boppers used to hate me, now they tell me I'm they tight now. Swagger through the roof, got everybody on my height now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. See me, I'm out here getting it and loving how I live. Best believe if I do something, I'm a stupid do it big. And this hustling is my gig, so don't you ask me what I stand for. Stacking while I'm macking, trying to earn myself a couple Lambos. Yeah, you know them toys for them big boys. Emperor of sorts and all you other players decoys. Meaning you're not the real deal. Keep an appetite for dollars that I never miss a meal. All you suckers need to chill. I'm just trying to stack a meal and pull the baddest bras around and let show they sex appeal. Little bit of Netflix, then we chill. Losing clothes, keep on them heels. Working like a 9 to 5 and go right back to chasing skrill. I bring that real, never that phony. BS, y'all be stressing, put it down just like an OG. Perform these cookies, take flight. Summer, y'all just out here acting. I'm a boss in real life. I'm so in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. Boppers used to hate me, now they tell me I'm they tight now. Swagger through the roof, got everybody on my height now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. Keep it more 100 than a C note. Hall of Fame spitting, representing with these pimp quotes. Don't try to front, you know this shit's dope. Question is, will I ever fail? My answer is no. I make this hustling look amazing. Put it down, doper than a blunt of purple hazing. Spicy on the mic, I bring the fire like a Cajun. Scovilles, making haters sweat when I be blazing. Leaning to the side, haters everywhere. Yeah, I hear them talking, but they simply wasting air. Can't understand the reason that they stay in my affairs. But I'm major with my movements, getting money everywhere. I'm so in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. Boppers used to hate me, now they tell me I'm they tight now. Swagger through the roof, got everybody on my height now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now. So in love with this lifestyle. And I love it, and I love it. So in love with this lifestyle. Anything I want, I say the word, I get it right now.
Your love flows through me like water from the rain. It flows right through. You've cleansed my soul and washed away all the pain. You wash every part. Your love lifts higher than all of the stars in the sky. So high. I may not wish on you to be by my side. You loving me, I feel like flying. You loving me, I feel like crying. Tears of joy fall from
How long were you standing there? Welcome back, and thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. We've been doing some Reddit ghost stories, real scary stories, random encounters, different things like that. The next thing up is another ghost story, and it says, "Something strange keeps finding me." Part 1. And this is an experience. So this starts off with a common factor, which is me. Ever since I was a kid, I've been prone to weird paranormal things happening to me or around me, to the point that my parents had no choice but to believe me. The incident I'm about to start with isn't the first one, but a major one that scared the living shit out of me. So this was back in 2015 when I was in 8th grade. My mom was in the backyard watering plants while I was in my parents' room chilling. I could see my mom through the door that led to the backyard. I was kind of laying down with my feet on the headrest of the bed, weird teenager behavior, and watching TV, when all of a sudden the TV turns off by itself. I sit up confused, and before I can understand anything, a pillow is smacked down onto my face from behind. Startled, I look behind to find no one. A sudden chill runs down my spine. I run outside through the door to where my mom was, heaving and barely making coherent sentences. She comes back in with me to check. We find 2 chilling things. 1, the TV was turned off from its main switch behind it. 2, the pillow that smacked my face was from my room down the hallway. Who or what carried it? Things to note. 1, I don't have any siblings or anyone else residing in the house. 2, my dad was at work. 3, it was just my mom and I could see my mom in the backyard, as mentioned. If y'all are interested, then I'll post further incidents as well. Honeybee Lina said, "Oh wow, that's scary." Kira 11 says, "Scary." Yeah, pretty trippy. Trippy for sure. And it'd be hard to say what my trippiest or scariest paranormal encounter was. The one that always jumps out at me is when a freaking butter knife flew past me, and it was from the kitchen. I was walking past the little shelf area. It's got a shelf and then the counter and then a doorway. Just came whizzing by. True scary stories. Followed home by a skinwalker. This is by FoxPink99. I live in Utah, and this happened 2 autumns ago. My friend Mia and I walked to a park about 2 miles away at sunset. We did this often because we both were 15 and couldn't drive. We got to the park and the sun was already down. This park was a wooded area with a parking lot. In the parking lot, a group of boys drove by and chased us around. We ended up hiding on the other side of this tunnel near a path. We went under to get to the parking. After about 10 minutes, we went back to the park to see if the boys had left. And the parking lot was empty. We were pretty scared, so we ended up going back under the tunnel to head on the path home. The path was up this long hill and then through this empty field. As we made our way through tunnel, it had a dimly lit light in the center. We got up the tall hill and looked back. As we did, both our stomachs dropped, and I mean dropped. I had never felt this way before. A black figure stood at the bottom of the tunnel, walking in place, like standing there, and just moving its legs to look like it was walking. Again, the figure was all black and had no features on its face or anything, just a black figure. We both turned to each other and sprinted. We got to the other side of the field and we looked back. The moonlight showed the figure standing there staring at us. There's actually no way this thing could have gotten up the hill that fast. This was a steep, long hill, with us two girls sprinting, high adrenaline to get to the other side of the field, and this thing somehow got to the top of the hill in the same time. Actually, no possible way. Mia and I ended up sprinting into a random neighborhood, and then found our way home. Her and I are neighbors, so I headed home. The pit in our stomachs didn't leave for 24 hours. We told our friend, and she said it's probably a skinwalker, so please let me know what you think it is. It's been 2 years, and I still feel unsettled by it. There are no comments. Wow. Wow. I don't know, skinwalkers are scary. I've seen one for sure. And yeah, first I thought it was a pregnant chick, then I realized that ain't no pregnant chick. Look at how long her arms and fingers are and how distended her stomach is, with her pants popped open and the zipper down and the t-shirt like up on her belly like she'd eaten somebody. Like that wasn't the size of a baby, that was the size of a human. I don't know, it was pretty trippy, I'll tell you what. Luckily, we didn't see its eyeballs, because you're not supposed to see its eyeballs. What movie was that? Horror movie from the 70s. Hey there. There's a horror movie I remember watching as a kid. It may have been a made-for-TV movie. It was about a woman with, I believe, 2 kids. I'm not sure if there was a father involved or not. I think she had just moved into the house. There's a scene of her opening her kitchen cabinets, and there are these weird jars in them. I don't remember what was inside the jars or why they were important. Also, in one scene, she's sitting in what looks like a pentagram, and she pulls her son into the pentagram, and there was a bunch of wind in the room. It may have been released in the early 70s, around the time The Exorcist and all that demon stuff was popular. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Thanks in advance. Andy Dovo said, sounds like the poltergeist. Exile on Priorist said, something evil from 1972. FB Resna said, I looked that up on YouTube. That sounds like it. Thank you. Well, I'm going to have to write that down, because I love scary movies, and I want to check it out. Little pause for the cause here. Un momento, por favor. Right, you kids out there that like scary movies as well, put that on your list to check out. I guess they said it's on YouTube, so that's cool. Alright. Ghost stories. Something strange keeps finding me, part 2. So, continuing with the paranormal incidents that tend to happen to me or around me, the second incident takes place in the same house. I was still in 8th grade. Rather than happening just once, it was an ongoing thing. Almost every night, and sometimes even early in the morning, I would hear footsteps. Actual footsteps. They always started from inside my room's bathroom. I could hear them step out, one by one, onto the hallway floor and walk straight towards my parents' room. No dragging, no rushing, just steady, confident steps. What made it worse was how real they sounded. Once the footsteps were so loud and clear that my mom woke up convinced someone had broken into the house. To add to that, there was a handprint on one of the windows in the living room that couldn't be wiped clean from inside or outside. The handprint didn't match my hand or my parents'. Wow. Not too long ago, I had, the adults in my family gone, and it was just me and the kids were at school, and I took a shower. When I got out, there was a big handprint on my mirror, and I don't know, it was not the kid's handprint, and I don't know, it was bigger than anybody else in here. All right. This one is by Spoopy CJs. I don't know, affectionate.5358. My house is haunted, paranormal. This is my first time posting on Reddit, so it might be a bit rough, so please bear with me. I normally just read the stories on here and watch Courtney's videos. I've never shared any of my own stories. I don't necessarily have one story that made me believe that my house was haunted, but I have a bunch of mini stories that are weird. 1. A few things before I start with this story. I have 3 siblings, 2 older and 1 younger. My younger brother and I are a year and a half apart. This is important. One time when I was around 11 or 12 years old, I was washing my hands in my parents' bathroom, and when I looked up, I saw my younger brother in the mirror. I looked over and he wasn't there. With the way my parents' bathroom is set up, there is a decently long hallway leading to their bedroom, so if he ran away, I would have seen and heard him. The other scary thing was at the time my brother was 10 or 11, and the reflection looked like him when he was 7. 2. When I was younger, I would see things out of the corner of my eye in the hallway. One time I walked into the hallway and saw a woman in all white standing in the doorway of my parents' room. She didn't have any feet. She was just floating in the doorway. I ignored it and kept walking to my room. 3. Recently, for about the last 2 years, I think, we've had a friendly ghost. It started with our motion sensor light on our car garage going off without anything being around it. At first, we thought it was some sort of glitch because it didn't always happen, so we did everything to test it out. We stood near the car while driving. Nothing. Then for fun, because my sister and I were running out of ideas, we decided to ask if it was a ghost. It turned the light on almost immediately while we were driving up our driveway. 4. This ghost, who we call Gilbert, likes to help us. At least that's what I think. For example, whenever we lose things, he will bring them back. My mom was building some of our deck furniture and she lost one of the screwdrivers. She spent 20 minutes searching for the screwdriver on our deck, in our garage, everywhere. When she got back to the deck, it was sitting right where she had left it. Another example would be when I lost one of my earrings at work and I found it on the floor in my room. The same thing has happened to my sister. That's all that I have. I hope this makes sense, and I'm sorry if there are any typos. Well, that was interesting. Don't worry about typos. I think a lot of people these days have typos. True scary story. I'll never forget the way he looked at me. This is creepy, and it's by OK_beyond_7697. This happened back in 2012, and I was 20 at the time. It was my second semester of college, and this was just one of those days. I just really didn't want to go to class, but still wanted to be productive. So instead, I skipped class that day to go to the Barnes & Noble at my local town center. While the town center was always busy with all kinds of shoppers, it was a weekday, so a little less busier than we'd see on a weekend. I was looking forward to a quiet morning sitting in the Beyond Starbucks cafe with a cozy peppermint mocha and bacon Gouda sandwich whilst working on an art project in and on my laptop that was due for class at the end of the week. I couldn't find parking outside of the bookstore nor by the shops nearby, so I had to park my car in a lot that's behind all the shops. It's a big lot with about 5 rows of cars, so I managed to find a spot. I grab my laptop bag, lock up the car, and head to B&N. Go to the cafe to get my order, and then find a spot to sit after I get my drink and breakfast. The first hour went by completely undisturbed. Then a guy sits at the table across from me. I'm always hyper aware of my surroundings, so without looking, I could tell this person wasn't sitting with a book or with food or drink, and he didn't pull out a laptop or even pull out his phone to look through it. He just sat there. I never looked directly at him, only using my peripheral vision to notice these details. Even so, I ignored him at first, deciding maybe he's waiting for someone or even waiting on an order, so I continued my work. Well, this guy still didn't move and no one joined him. No order came. He didn't start reading a book or his phone or messing with a laptop. He just sat there at the table across from me with his hands on the table. I get the sneaking suspicion that I'm being watched. You know, that creepy feeling you get that crawls up your spine. I felt like it had to be him because he's facing me, but why would he be looking at me? I don't want to look up and make eye contact with him or give him any idea that I want to engage with him, but I still want to make sure he is the one who's looking at me. So rather than look up towards him, I look past his shoulder towards the front doors of the shop. Once again, using my peripheral vision, I see him more clearly. And he's not just looking at me, he's staring at me. This isn't a normal stare either. There was nothing casual about it. It looked hyper-focused and intent, but a bit glassy. The kind of look that your cat might have when looking at a bird or squirrel outside. Predatory. Alarms went off in my head, but I tried to ignore him and went back to what I was doing. This guy continues to just stare at me. He never says anything. He never tries to get my attention or ask for it. He just stares at me. My palms were starting to sweat and I just couldn't concentrate on my work anymore. I wanted to get out of there, get as far away from this guy as possible. But I know I can't just get up and walk out the door into a fairly remote parking lot where he could hide behind cars. I needed to ditch this guy. I needed to break away from his field of vision. I also needed to assess just how much in danger I really was. So I shut down my laptop and slid it into my backpack. The guy continues not to move across from me. I zip up my backpack and pull it onto my shoulder. As I get up as casual as possible and head for the restrooms, but I don't go into the restrooms. I turn on the book aisle to the restrooms at the last minute and duck and weave behind a few others. I look behind me and I spot the guy at the end of the aisle, and when he saw me look back, he staggered and quickly ducked behind another aisle. That's how I knew for sure I was being stalked. Now, in hindsight, it might have been safer for me to loudly call him out and drag everyone's attention to him in the store. Looking back, maybe it's what I should have done. But I was young and I was scared and really just wanted to get the hell away from the guy. Besides, if he left, how am I to know he wouldn't be waiting for me somewhere outside? So I spent a few minutes moving through the aisles of the store, sometimes very quickly just to make sure I lost him, and then I left the store with my keys in my palm, with them sticking out between my fingers, in case I needed to defend myself, and moved quickly to my car in the parking lot. Soon as I was in my car, I locked the doors and pulled out before heading straight home. I was just so relieved that I escaped this guy. I'll never forget the way his eyes looked, though. There was just something primal and inhuman about it. I've never seen anyone else look like that, and I hope I never do again. Oh, bonus. When I told my boyfriend at the time about the whole thing, he told me, "That's what you get for going anywhere by yourself without me. Why didn't you even tell me you were going to the bookstore today?" But this boyfriend, now ex, also made a fuss about me wearing certain clothes around his friends and has major jealousy and control issues, so not a shock to me currently, but at the time I was shocked. He wasn't just relieved I was okay and just told me it was my fault for being stupid. Exes are exes for a reason, though. It took years before I felt enough confidence to go anywhere by myself again. Up until age 30, I only ever went out with a significant other, friends, or family. But I do go out by myself on occasion. Sometimes you just want to do something nobody else you know is interested in, and you can't let fear of what might happen stop you. Even so, I never leave the house without some form of self-defense on me, and I always try to park close or in a populated area when I go out alone. Stay vigilant. I haven't run into really any other issues since. Still won't forget those eyes, though. Monsters are real. Oh, yes, they are, and they look like you and me, or, your creepy neighbor, even the asshole neighbor. I saw it. It saw me. Horror stories. Alright. This is not based on any events that have occurred in real life. This one is by responsible_reply 907. It saw me. There's absolutely no way I can describe how I feel. I felt shaken, to say the least, after all events that have occurred. I'll try my best to explain what happened. Me and my wife, moved into a 2-story house last month. It was comfortable, it had plenty of space, but strange things started happening a few months after I had moved. My wife was away on business at the time of the occurrences. I've been hearing things. I've been hearing slight tapping, and what I think is breathing of some sort. It was driving me crazy. It's gotten to a point where I developed tinnitus every time I heard it. I'd also been experiencing insomnia for some reason. But last week was the last straw for me. I've had enough of it. I decided to check where all these sounds would be coming from. Now this is a decision that I would come to regret. What I saw within those few minutes would proceed to burn into my mind and haunt me forever. I had decided to explore the house to see what could be making the noises so I could meet sleep once again. I decided to look outside of my door. Nothing was out there. I decided to check the rooms in our house, the bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, basically every room in the house. I noticed it was more audible when I walked into the bathroom. I had also noticed that it came from the pipes, so I decided to look in the pipes and just me. Trust me when I say, what I saw next made me utterly nauseated and regretful of looking at all. I saw a pair of bloodshot, lifeless, black eyes looking right back at me. I decided to take a closer look, and yep, it was clearly a pair of eyes and a body of some sort. I developed a horrible migraine shortly afterwards. I really can't recall how, for I don't experience migraines often, but it was feeling really painful, so I decided to lie down on the couch. I woke up in a hospital bed. Everyone, including my wife, was surrounding me. It turns out I had passed out shortly after I lied down on the couch. I don't understand how I did, but it happened. I'll never forget seeing it. I'll never forget seeing everyone around me in my hospital room looking worried. I'll never forget that migraine I had. I'll never forget those couple of days, not for the rest of my life. Something happened in my house when I was younger, and I still don't know what it could have been. This is under Reddit Ghost Stories, and this is by One Difference 3938. Hi everyone. I've been home for a break from college for a couple of weeks, and with recent passing of Christmas, I was reminded of something that happened to me a couple of years ago and wanted to share it with you guys to get your opinion on what it could be. First of all, let me set the scene of my house. On the back wall of our living room, we have a couch with a TV in front of it on the far wall. A little to the left, there's a hallway that leads to, in this order, the bathroom on the right, a bit further down, my room on the left, and right across my parents' room on the right. At the end of the hallway, my dad's office is on the left. I don't remember how many years ago this was, but I might have been around 12 or 13. I'm 19 now. And I don't know the actual time this happened, but it must have been around Christmas time, as I had a full view from the left end of the couch to down the hallway, meaning the couch was moved over for the tree to be on the right side of it. What happened was this. My family was, or has, a ritual where we watch movies together every night, and we still do this today. It must have been pretty late, as the room was completely dark except for the TV and the Christmas tree. I was having a good time just watching the movie when I felt like someone was watching me. I looked around the living room thinking one of my parents might have been the culprit, but they were both watching the movie. I was confused, then I felt this urge to just look down the hallway, and I did. You know when it's super dark, but if your eyes are adjusted, you might still make out shapes and figures? Well, as I looked down the hallway, my eyes began adjusted enough for me to make out this figure peeking out of my parents' room. I remember how my ears began to ring and my heart began to speed up. I also remember the fact that I felt like I was going to pass out from fear. I'd never felt that sense of dread before in my entire life, and now I understand that this was my fight or flight response kicking in. The best way I could describe it is if you came face to face with a grizzly bear while alone in the woods with no weapons. It felt like my life was going to end. Writing this now, I still feel that same fear and dread flowing through my body. It was just so creepy seeing this thing peek out around the corner in my own home. Somehow I knew that this figure in the doorway was looking at me, even though I couldn't make out any actual features, just that it was tall and completely dark. Then, after a bit of time, it stood to its full height, and it was I was certain of it. Something about it just wasn't natural and sent a chill up my spine. It walked out of my parents' room completely, looked at me for another moment before turning and quickly walking down the rest of the hallway into my dad's office. I think I sat there and blinked at the now empty hallway for close to 2 minutes, just not quite knowing what to do before I finally snapped out of it. Now, before I go further, I want to preface something. I don't have the best relationship with my parents. I won't go into detail, but I'm usually too scared to even tell them if I'm hurt because it will turn into a lecture/argument with me getting into trouble. They just get irrationally angry at me for everything I do, even to this day. So by knowing this, what I did next meant I was 100% sure of what I saw. I finally gained the courage to say these exact words. "Dad, there's someone in the house." My voice was definitely very calm, a lot calmer than I was feeling. Like I said, I was 100% sure of what I saw. Otherwise, I wouldn't have told them. But I knew that I saw someone walk out of my parents' room and into my dad's office. I remember how quickly I paused the movie. He turned the light on and ran down the hallway to his office. I remember being able to see his office light turn on and waiting with bated breath for some kind of sign he found the person. A struggle, a yell, something, but all I heard was silence. Then the light turned off and he walked out of his office and back into the living room. He just looked at me, like he was inspecting me. He told me that no one was back there. I remember being just so utterly confused because I knew I saw something, and yet he found nothing. There was no way for that thing to have escaped either, as there's no windows in his office. That night we finished the movie and just moved on, but I could tell my parents were a little worried about me while I was a complete nervous wreck. When I went to bed that night, I remember that I could barely fall asleep, and right as I was about to, I heard footsteps walking up the hallway from the living room and toward my room. Now, around this time in my life, my dad had this weird habit of still checking on me and opening my door in the middle of the night to do so. So I knew when I heard those footsteps that he was coming to check on me, so I just laid there waiting for him to open the door once the footsteps reached my door, but there was nothing. They just stopped, abruptly, in front of my door. Then there was a light tapping sound against the wood for a bit before it too stopped. Then I heard footsteps just pacing up and down the hallway, always passing my door, but never stopping. I was too scared to even move. Eventually, I must have fallen asleep from fear or exhaustion, I don't know, and the next morning, I asked my dad if he had knocked on my door last night. He told me no. The subject was never brought up again, as I felt like I was going crazy and didn't want them to get mad at me, but this isn't the only weird thing to happen in my house. A couple years after that, I needed to go turn the dryer on again. Our washer and dryer is in the basement, unfortunately, and it's a little creepy down there, so I already didn't like going down there, but now I really don't like it. I opened the door, turned the stair lights on, and got about halfway down the stairs when I heard my mom call my name. The layout for the basement is at the end of the stairs. There's a room to the right, which is our guest bedroom, and a little farther into that room holds our washer and dryer. Without turning the lights on in the guest bedroom, it's really dark, even with the laundry room and the stairlight, and when I heard my name, it sounded like it was coming from the laundry room. But that didn't make sense since that side of the basement was completely dark. I remember being so confused and scared, and that same sense of dread washed over me, just like when I saw the thing in my hallway. I walked a couple more steps down so I could see around the wall and confirmed that it was completely dark down there. I called out, "Mom?" not knowing what I would do if I got an answer. That was probably a really dumb decision. I waited a couple seconds, about to do it again, when her voice called back from the dark laundry room. She said, my name, "Come help me in here." I froze and my body broke out in chills. That voice sounded so much like my mom, called my name again, and it must have snapped me out of it as I turned and hightailed it up the stairs, turning the light off and slamming the door behind me. I just stood there before my mom walked out of the kitchen and frowned at my gasping form. She asked me if I was okay, and I asked her if she had been calling my name. She told me that no, she'd been in the kitchen eating her lunch this whole time. I just said, okay, before running to my room to cry. I was just so scared because who the hell was calling my name from the basement? It sounded just like my mom, but it wasn't her. I probably shouldn't have answered back. I know that now, but still. After that, I wasn't able to go down to the basement by myself, and now I still don't like doing it. especially when I'm home alone. Does anyone have any ideas as to what these encounters could be? I don't have any mental problems other than some anxiety and depression, so it wasn't something like that, and I was sleeping fine during both of these incidents. I know it's something paranormal, I just don't know what. My research has led me to thinking that there might have been a mimic or something, which would explain me hearing my mom's voice, but that hasn't happened since. Honestly, no major events have happened again except for hearing footsteps at night when no one is awake or some whispering from vacant rooms in the house. Really, I could just use some help trying to figure out what could be in my house as well as how to get rid of it. Any advice would be appreciated. I do not know. It reminds me of a doppelganger. Not the one where you saw the tall thing, the tall it, but the voice thing. Because they can not only imitate your likeness, but also imitate your voice to get you in there, call you to, and you really want to run fro. All right. Something happened in my house when I was younger, and I still don't know what it could have been. This is under Reddit Ghost Stories. Oh my gosh. And it is by One Difference 3938. Hi everyone. I've been home for break from college for a couple weeks, and with the recent passing of Christmas, I was reminded of something that happened to me a couple years ago, and wanted to share it with you guys to get your opinion on what it could be. First of all, let me set the scene of my house. On the back wall of our living room, we have a couch with a TV in front of it. On the far wall, a little to the left, there's a hallway. I think we already read this. Let me see. Yep, watching movies, etc., etc. The thing. Yeah, this is the thing we just read. What the heck? Okay. What? This one is Paranormal Encounters. This one looks very spooky. It's by Party-1-8712. Spoke with a deceased woman on a police call. I've posted this here before along with about a burglary in progress call I responded to, but I've been getting requests for newer members on my recent posts and figured it's worth repeating for everyone. There was one call I went to, a death notification that really freaked me out. I had to contact some family members of a deceased woman that was involved in a fatal car accident a few miles away from her home. When I arrived, I met a woman near the roadway just inside the property gate. She said she heard me coming from miles away. I asked her if she lived at the residence, which she confirmed she did. After asking her to speak with me at the house, she agreed but said she needed to walk as the house was about 75 yards from the road. After making it to the house, I approached the front door on a small wooden porch and began scanning the driveway for the woman. It was about 1 a.m. and completely dark. While looking for the woman, the front door opened and a younger woman appeared. She was concerned about my presence and asked if everything was okay. I asked if I could speak with her and any other adults inside, and she welcomed me in. I told her I would wait for the woman I met near the gate, and she told me nobody else should be home. I then freaked out and began searching the property. Nothing. After entering the residence, I told her and her husband the news about Susan, which ended up being her mother. She said her mother moved in a few months back after her father had passed and wasn't handling it well. While she and her husband were comforting one another, I began looking at photos on the wall. There was this picture of a mid-aged woman that stuck out to me. She was a younger version of the woman I spoke with near the gate. While looking at the picture, the daughter confirmed that was her mother, the woman that passed in the wreck. I spoke with the ghost of the individual that died in the crash just before telling her family what happened. This experience and a few others prompted me to start sharing stories like these from the job on my channel, Policing the Shadows. Usual Dennis 5288 said, I remember reading this before. Did you tell them that the lady you saw was Susan, or did you keep that to yourself? I didn't mention it to them. I'm still not sure if that was the right thing to do. I felt like it would make the situation worse for them. Yellow Lab Sare, the best. Yellow Labs are the best. I guess everyone is different, but I would love to know. I would too. I would think that was really cool. Even though I'd be super, super sad. My mother also died in a car crash. She was killed by a drunk driver. Not cool. More Snow, Most Bunny, said, you did the professional and ethical thing after having encountered her spirit. I know how much the paranormal makes me uncomfortable, even in neutral encounters like yours. Your hair was standing on end, and your intuition was telling you something was wrong. It might be cool to reach out to them as a civilian if you're inclined. I saw a ghost in broad daylight approaching me in a critically emotional moment, smiling. I believe you. Cup All Star said, that's beautiful. I hope they were able to give you some serenity when you needed it. Remarkable Paint 7242 said, interesting. I subscribed and told my daughter to subscribe. She is a detective, but was also a patrol officer. They were called to a death call, and I wouldn't say she is desensitized to death, but it is part of her job. It was an overdose. She walked in the room and saw the deceased, and then she saw someone, from the corner of her eyes, come to the door frame of the room. It was the man that was deceased. Same clothes, and he looked at her in shock. She turned back to the deceased and back to the door, and the apparition was gone. She said it was probably a combination of being tired and the whole situation. I say she saw his ghost. Party 18712 said, absolutely she did. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you both enjoy it. Always Happy said, I've read how people who pass from an impact or suddenly, like car accidents, shootings, getting crushed, etc., their souls continue to roam for a while as they haven't realized they have died. This was an interesting story. I would have been freaked out, but I'm glad you remain composed. Spare Estate 1477 said, I believe you, just one thing. Did you drive up the driveway and you thought she was going to be walking and she just never showed up? Was trying to figure out how you didn't notice her disappearing? The story really reminds me of the black tag lady from 9/11, which anyone who's interested can Google if unfamiliar. I bet this is what the first responder experienced too, almost like the person was in the middle or transitioning or something. Party 18712 said, exactly. I continued driving up to the house alone, assuming it would take a minute to make it, but she never showed. I checked the immediate area before going into the house and nothing. Spare Estate 1477 said, yeah, I gotcha. That makes sense. I totally believe there is something to this. In the instance of the Black Flag lady, she said, I'm not dead, and told the gentleman a few times to call her daughter. I was with both parents when they passed, years apart. Felt like my dad lingered, but my mom was out of there in a flash, like she'd had one foot out the door. Laugh out loud. Future Barracuda 5650 said, how was she dressed? Do you have any other detail to share? Way of speaking or anything? Dulone 685 said, I'd love to hear more stories like this one. Gail Clark said, Did the woman near the gate appear odd or unusual? Do you remember anything different in her mannerisms or physical appearance, or do you remember her as an ordinary human being? He replied, She appeared normal, solid, nothing that made me think she didn't belong. Wow, there's a lot of comments on this story. We could be here all night reading these. This last one is really long. Let's check that one out. Touch of a Rose. Thanks for sharing your story and channel info. Any chance you caught any of it on your body-worn camera or dash cam? I know most people wouldn't typically activate their body-worn camera for a death notification, but many agencies also make it mandatory for every encounter. I used to work for a sheriff's office in California, and 2 of our deputies were called to my ex-boyfriend's parents' house for an unresponsive female. The ex-boyfriend's mom, whom I still somewhat was close to. Later, when I decided to ask my partners about the call, they didn't know of my connection to the family. They said something strange happened and played their body-worn camera footage for me. In it, you could see the mom on the floor in the living room with paramedics and deputies all around her, along with my boyfriend and his dad, both visibly upset standing by her. The medics had just pronounced her dead after trying for a long time to revive her via CPR, AED, etc. The 2 deputies heard a woman call out the dad's name, was also captured on their body-worn camera, and they said it sounded like it came from the front door, which was open for all the first responders. The deputies went to the front door thinking it was a noisy neighbor, but when they arrived, no one was there, and no one was in front of the house or anywhere near the entrance. When I heard the woman's voice call out the dad's name, it sounded exactly like the mom. Yeah, I was thinking about going back to school, and what I wanted to go to school for was crime scene investigation. I think there's another name for it too. Let me see if I have a note here. Oh yeah, forensic science diploma. I think that'd be cool, and I am highly subjected to death. Both my parents are dead. Many people close to me are dead. I've gone to court cases of family members where there are not so nice pictures, etc., and seem to still be okay. So I don't know. I just really love crime shows, and I figured that'd be something that would interest me, that I'd actually be interested in doing for the rest of my life. Then I get scared that maybe I'm leading myself astray. I don't know. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, let's go ahead and get to our second music break. On this break, we once again have Miss Tracy Cruz with Electricity and Emotional Love. Then we have Fred Johnson III with After Dark. I almost said After the Dark. And then we have Kate Magdalena, Streets of Anytown. And she is from Sebastopol, California. Like I said, all of these artists are from California. I figured we'd do something a little different tonight. I hope you guys have been enjoying it, and I will see you right after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Your love empowers me. It gives me the energy to move beyond my capabilities. There is no limit to what your love can do.
I feel chemistry whenever
Take me to a college scene. I'd like to go and dance, have drinks, and hunt the perfect date. Yeah. Living at the dark, I search lonely streets to find hidden shadows in the dark. It doesn't matter what I say. Secret homicides arranged in a series of pursuits. No matter what I say, after dark, I gave her face because she had the range. I knew she was the one that never could go home again. Plastic life like limo seats. I don't know why I can't control this urge to hurt again. Yeah. Living at the dark, I search lonely streets to find hidden shadows in the dark. It doesn't matter what I say. Chasing things that murder forever after. No matter what I say, after dark. Feeling ran to arguments and fear. Behind a place with days of December. Concerning works furnished in romantic. It doesn't matter what I say. It really doesn't. No matter what I say, after dark. It doesn't matter what I say. Secret homicides arranged in a series of pursuits. No matter what I say, change is love, murder forever after. It doesn't matter what I say. Rude and fatal, lacking the hint of conscience. No matter what I say, after dark.
Boy, I don't know what to do. My heart is so confused. In the past, it's been put down, it's been shattered, and then I'm left without any clue to know the real truth about what I found. But with you, I found my common ground. You're the one that makes me emotional. 'Cause you're the one that makes me feel emotional. You make me feel that love is real. 'Cause you're the one that makes me feel emotional. Ever since I was young, my mom said love makes you strong when on a corner of the streets of any town. There's a man who life forgot, he's going down. His family wrote him off as crazy many years ago. His friends left him as someone it's better not to know. So the streets took him as one of their own. The open street became his home. And he laid his body down, offering to the ground on the corner of the street of any town. A habit clung to him and bound him. It won't let go. The pain that racks his body means he can't say no. He wants someone to unbind him. He needs someone to be kind to him. It could be me. It could be you. We just go on living as we do. So the streets took him as one of their own. The grimy street became his home. And he laid his body down, offering to the ground, to the shame of all around. The corner of the street of any town. I walk on by, I glance at him, I turn my head away. Wanna say something, wanna make it right, don't know what to say. There's a place in my heart that only God can open. Is there I hear the word that He has spoken. I turn to the man and I look in his eyes so blue. I turn to him and look, and there find you. And Jesus said we would find him in the least of you. The least of you. There was a man who came to earth from above. His heart and mind were made of love. Laid his body down on a cross of wood. I wonder if the world has misunderstood. 'Cause he laid his body down, offering to the ground, to the least of all around. The corner of the street of any town.
Hey, there you are. Welcome back. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. We have been doing story time, aka Reddit, reading different things, real scary stories, ghost stories. Am I the asshole? Was that one Am I the asshole, or was that one an Am I the jerk thing? Anywho, I watch or read different things while we're on break, when I'm not doing other things like tending to the kids and hitting the head, etc., or checking the chickens and the geeks. There's a video I came upon that is blowing my mind because, speaking with my eldest daughters, Kinsey and Nova, we've noticed this for some time, but recently really talking about it, how time has changed and nothing feels the same, and it feels like during the day or a day you work, but you can't seem to get anywhere or get stuff done, like not as much as you used to. And I keep thinking, like, I heard from a scientist somewhere that time is moving faster, that we're moving faster, and who knows what reality is. Was this caused by CERN? I don't know. But yeah, this video was hitting on so many things that we were talking about and that we've noticed. Yeah, and also going back to like how we're being split by our governments, etc. Like, I'm glad I don't affiliate with any political party, because I'm not stuck in the middle of this BS-ery, except for, fear for my family because of, what's going on in the country right now and around the world. Things are so uncertain. The only thing that is certain is death and taxes. But yeah, I want to show this video to you guys. You guys gotta check this out. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we'll be able to hear it through this. Let's see.
What the hell is going on? Everything feels weird.
Nothing feels the same.
It's all a lie. Almost everything we've ever been told is a lie.
When you start thinking about something and it shows up on your social media feed, like you never verbalize it. And that's
been lied to since childhood about literally everything.
Since 2020, something has seriously changed.
Like something snapped in 2020 and never really healed.
I'm a nurse. I live through it. I work through it. People are not the same.
They just want to break people.
So I often joke around and say that 2019 was the last good year because of everything that's kind of happened since, and that, we feel that the world is always changing.
I don't know how long you've listened to the show, but like when our group was big and we had people from Australia and Canada and stuff coming on the show and discussing different things. The world is changing, CERN, etc. I don't know. I'm trying to remember where I was going with that one. Yeah, it's just crazy.
It's always different. Nothing feels the same anymore. A lot of people...
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Just this feeling that something's happening, something's going to happen, and then it did. And it was the C word. We're not allowed to say, because a lot of places will ban you for that, but I don't know if you were affected. I was. My life was hardcore affected, and it really troubled me in different ways. Luckily, I'm coming back from that, but yeah. Nothing's been the same since the pandemic, and even before then, we were heading downhill, or wherever the heck it is we're heading to right now.
Do feel that same sentiment, and honestly, I'm seeing more people go online and share just these different experiences that they have been going through, and just their thoughts about what has been going on since 2020 and what they think is going to be happening. And it's just so interesting to see everybody coming together and saying these types of things. Go ahead and watch these videos and let me know what you think.
I don't believe any of the bull that we've learned in school, anything the media tells us, and anything our government tells us. None of it.
Does anyone else feel like they're like living in the in-between right now? Like, you know, the way that you're living in the Matrix can't last forever, but you haven't really decided what your next move is. So every day you're just constantly masking and pretending with one foot in, one foot out the door, hoping that like your life's gonna get to radically change soon so you don't have to keep faking everything. Or is it just me?
I think the hardest part of having an awakening is the soul exhaustion that comes with it. Because once your eyes are opened, you can't unsee it. Once you see that politics are only an illusion of choice to keep you under control, you can't unsee it. Once you understand that the education system is only to teach you to obey authority and to indoctrinate you, you can't unsee it.
Teach you how to
Once
be
you
a
understand
slave
that the healthcare system is not to make you
to the
healthy,
grind.
it is only to keep you sick. They medicate your symptoms. They do not get to a root cause.
Medical
and that
practice.
they've made you believe that anything holistic is snake oil medicine. Once you understand that the food is fake and it's what gets you sick and keeps you sick and gets you into the fake healthcare system, you can't unsee that either. Once you realize that that social security number that was issued to you on your birthday is your employer ID for the Corporation of the United States of America, and that when you go to work to that 8 to 5 every day that drains your soul, once you learn that you've been indoctrinated to believe that the more education, the more money, the more success, the more material possessions so that you have to continue to work is all a lie to drain your soul and keep you so unfocused, you can't unsee it. Once you understand all of these things, you still have to participate in the Matrix. You still have to feed your family. You still have to pay your bills. You can't exit it, and it's exhausting. You have to walk around and pretend all day long. You participate in a system that you no longer believe in. I can't tell you how many of my friends and I have discussed that we're so sick of this. We just want a piece of land, basic shelter, raise some chickens, bake some bread, homeschool our kids. We no longer want to participate in the system.
I've been doing all that. Yeah. Bread and rules. I'm really good at it, but I need more practice. And chickens, I love them. I'm gone 4, 2 are injured, 2 are not, but nobody's laying eggs except for the geese. We have tons of geese eggs. It's crazy. But yeah, raise chickens, grow your own stuff. If nothing does happen, it's really a good way to get in touch with Earth and, you know, kind of ground yourself.
It's exhausting.
Connect with the world.
It's all a lie. Almost everything we've ever been taught is a lie. And being forced to continue to live in the Matrix is exhausting. It's freeing. You no longer have to worry about the rest of the crap. When you take back control of your own life and know that none of it matters, you just do what you want to do. That's why when I said yesterday, I don't give a damn, I don't give a damn. This is my life. But it's exhausting to walk around with all these other people that don't see it for what it is and pretend that everything's normal when it's not. Tell me in the comments if this is you, because I want to hear. I want to hear about your awakening.
Why does it seem like everybody is just crazy? Like, I feel like I'm getting to the point that I don't even want to go out in the world anymore. Like, everybody's nuts. Is it just me?
I think by now, most of us understand that this is true. That we have been lied to since childhood about literally everything. Like everything that we thought was true, everything we were taught in school, everything we learned growing up, and everything we hear on the news, everything that people believe to be true is just not true. It's all a lie. But the question is why?
This is the biggest realization I had when I left the US. We live in the Matrix here. If you feel like you've been indoctrinated to be a slave, it's because it's true. If your gut is telling you that this is not what life is supposed to be, it's because it's true. I promise you, all you need to do is buy a flight. Get the fuck out of the US. Don't move, right? Just go on like a 2-week trip. just so you can open your mind. Because the reality of it is, we've all been indoctrinated since kids. And a lot of you guys who have this spiritual awakening and you're seeing the Matrix for what it is, that's a good start. But you do need to get out of the US to really unlock the cheat code. Because that confirmation when you step out of the US soil, when you're in another country, that confirmation of, oh my God, I am slaving my life away, slaps you in the face. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you hate your job, if you hate your situation that you have here in the US, buy a plane ticket. Throw a dart at a map and pick a random country and fly there.
What the fuck's happened to this world? I don't know. Since 2020, something has seriously changed because it feels so off to me. I know you can all feel it too, because I can feel it. Okay, and everything just feels so dull. Nothing feels exciting anymore, does it? You know, it almost feels like the life and soul's been sucked out of this world.
Oh, it was just
and
me.
All we do is just work. All we do is work. Every day feels the same. It's like we're stuck in a perpetual loop cycle.
You feel like the last 4 years of your life since 2020 haven't really felt like actual reality. This video is for you. I've seen a lot of videos on here, particularly from millennials, about how life since 2020 just hasn't, we almost can't even remember it. It doesn't really feel like it's been reality, and feel like it's been erased from our actual life. This is a very real phenomenon. It's something I've experienced myself, and I want to talk about it and hopefully help people out with it. The cause of this phenomenon is the fact that we're not living life in reality anymore. 2020 smashed our existences into our phones and into the digital world, and we are no longer existing in our physical space and only dealing with problems that are within our circle of influence. And we're also exposed to all of the awful things that everybody across the entire world deals with all the time. We are still organic beings, and our brains have become completely connected to this artificial device. That's what's destroying it. We're not cyborgs. We'll eventually be cyborgs. We're not cyborgs yet. So the fact that our entire existence is attached to this piece of technology is awful. And even in situations where we actually live life, where we break out of our routine, where we go on a trip, where we, take a vacation, you're still locked into your same cycle of unhealthy behaviors. Even if you go on a trip, the whole time you're thinking about your phone, what's happening in the phone, what are you missing out on social media? Oh, well, people are going to love this trip I'm on. I got to make sure I take videos and I post it and I get likes and all this stuff. We are no longer actually living life in our physical space. We are living life through the phone. This is why life does not feel like reality. It's because we're not in reality anymore. Life just seems to basically disappear when you're trapped in a routine. We are all in a routine of our brains being just completely connected to whatever is happening within this device. And on top of that, we all experience all the issues that go on in the world all the time. That's not healthy, okay? If it's not within your circle of influence, you really should not allow it to have any sort of impact on your emotional health.
Something changed all of us in 2020. And yeah, I am talking about the pandemic, but not the virus part. I'm talking about what came with it. The fear, the lies, the constant chaos pumped through every screen like it was oxygen. That was the year that people stopped trusting, stopped believing, stopped feeling safe, even in their own heads. And it's wild because almost 6 years later, you can still feel that shift hanging in the air. Like something snapped in 2020 and never really healed. Time doesn't even move the same anymore. It's like the world hit pause, but somehow everything got worse in slow motion. Before all that, we actually thought we had control. We thought science had the answers. We thought the media had the facts and leadership had some kind of plan. But then we watched them all contradict themselves over and over while telling us that we're the crazy ones. And now we're living in the aftermath of that gaslight. Everyone's divided. Everyone's drained. Nobody believes anything anymore. So yeah, something did change in 2020, and it wasn't just the world, it was us. We woke up, and the people who built the illusion, they've been panicking ever since. Because once the curtain gets pulled back, once you see the strings, you can't pretend that you don't.
Y'all, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. But I don't care what you say. People are different since that respiratory virus back in 2020. They're different. People are not the same. You can argue with me all day long if you want to. I don't care. I'm a nurse. I live through it. I work through it. people are not
I
the
can
same.
imagine being a nurse through that.
I'm not exactly sure what happened, if it's PTSD, if they didn't get enough oxygen to their brain, but people are just not the same as they were back before that it came.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know if it's because they were in their house for so long, they just got so used to not dealing with the public. Like I said, if it's because they didn't get enough oxygen to their brain and now they just have problems like communicating, but people are rude, they just don't know how to act no more. Have you noticed it, or is it just me? Is it just like healthcare people that we notice it more and more? But it ain't just at work that I notice this, y'all. It's just people in general, like in public. And you can tell. You can tell the ones that have been affected. I don't know. And maybe that's not it, but there's something. Something is not the same.
Does anyone else feel like 2020 was the last normal year on Earth and everything changed, and then we entered another timeline that may or may not have been caused by CERN opening up a portal, and that we're living on this new timeline and we keep trying to go back to the old one, but it's totally inaccessible to us? Because same.
I don't know who else feels this way, but I've come to a point now where I don't believe anything from anybody, anywhere. And at the same time, I would believe almost anything.
Is it just me, or does nothing feel the same anymore? Like, I can't explain it. I really can't. Like, just nothing feels the same anymore. Holidays don't feel the same. Just nothing feels the same. Everything feels hollow. Everything feels off. Does anybody else feel like this? I know I can't be the only one that feels like this. I know there has to be others out there that feel exactly like I do, because, again, everything just feels fake anymore. People feel fake. People don't feel the same. They treat you weird. They treat you different. Or they don't even acknowledge you. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on anymore. It feels as if days are just merging with one another. I just really can't explain the way that I feel, but I feel drained and just nothing feels the same. Does anybody else feel like this?
Conspiracy theory alert. You know how when you are talking about something and that something starts appearing in your feed as advertisements on social media?
We're thinking it.
I get that now. I think we all kind of get that now. We probably expect that. But what happens when you start thinking about something and it shows up on your social media feed? Like, you never verbalize it. And that's what happened to me. I was in my son's gaming center area and I looked at his gaming chair and I thought to myself, wow, that gaming chair is very, very beat up. That's a good Christmas gift for him. And I only thought it. I was the only one in my house. I didn't talk to anyone else. And then within 30 minutes, I sat down and started scrolling social media. And what do I find on TikTok and Instagram? Advertisements for gaming chairs. I have never had advertisements for gaming chairs showing up in my feed. And suddenly on TikTok and Instagram, there they are, gaming chairs galore. And I did buy one, which is beside the point. But how on earth does that happen? My conspiracy theory is that, and I know this sounds absolutely wild, but somebody is microchipping us. They have found a way to understand our thoughts and our brain, and they are linking it back to social media. I mean, it sounds bizarre, I know, but what logic exists other than that? Let me know.
I just saw this video of this guy saying that nothing feels the same anymore. And that is exactly how I have been feeling lately. And I commented that it's because we are finally waking up. And I really cannot remember the last time that I truly felt like a feeling of joy and happiness. 3 years ago this weekend, my husband and I took our very first cruise together because we got together during COVID. And so we had to wait 2 years before we could take our first cruise together. And we finally did it. And that was actually the last time that I was truly happy, I think, and content and at peace. It feels like everything has changed. Food doesn't taste the same. Everything feels weird. Time feels off. And it's because we're waking up. It's like, how was I before I knew all of this stuff around me was fake and a scam? And I didn't ever think anything about it. And now that you know, it's like literally hurts your stomach on a daily basis. Seriously, nothing feels the same anymore. It's like the days are a blur. I don't know. Sometimes I say that I did things and my husband's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yes, I did. Like, you don't remember that? And
perhaps yours is from another reality just like mine. First everything lined up, then all of a sudden things didn't.
like he can't remember.
Alternative
Or I
reality.
misplaced something. I don't know where it is, and I know I left it in a certain place, but then I try to go look for it there and it's not there, but then I search all over and I go back and it's there. Like, what the hell is going on? Everything feels weird.
Does anybody else just feel like completely weird right now? Like, I know things are weird, times are strange, like we know this, but like, do you feel weird? I just posted a
little
video,
squishy.
and I was like watching it, I was like looking at myself, and I was just like, is that me? Like, I don't even feel like me anymore. Something weird is going on. Like, time is not time. Time seems like I feel like I'm slipping in and out of time, and being within my body, I just don't like it. It doesn't really feel like we're actually here. This doesn't feel real. And I know we've talked about how things aren't real. We live in this weird simulation, but like, I'm really starting to feel it.
I am starting to think less and less that the goal of the propaganda, misinformation, and gaslighting that we get from our administration and mass media it's not anymore about getting followers, voters, and building this movement. I really feel like, and it looks like to me, that they have switched to intentionally encouraging, fostering, and nurturing a mass psychotic break. Why they would do that, I don't know. But I also have no idea why they've done a lot of the other things that they've done that I wouldn't have thought would happen. But all I can say is the things that I've witnessed and seen and read, like, it sure feels to me like they just want to break people. And I realize, as I'm saying this, I realize how insane and irrational this sounds. Like, I get it.
Right.
But, I mean, I can't be the only one that's seeing this and thinking this.
I think the Truman Show is one of the best analogies for what it is like to live in our current world. Truman is constantly plagued by the reality that something is off in his world, that something is produced fake, that something is being hidden from him, that there is something wrong that he wants to engage with, that he wants to put an end to, but he doesn't quite know how. And if Truman were to put an end to it, so many wealthy people would lose money, because Truman is the most valued intellectual property in his world. He just doesn't know it. There is so much Truman merchandise. There is so much advertising that is done inside Sea Haven. Truman is a vehicle for so much wealth. And Truman sees really none of that profit, none of that money, but he does have a fairly comfortable life that will probably not be as comfortable as the life he could leave it for. He's pacified. So Christoph and the showrunners, they do everything they can to pacify Truman. In fact, after the debacle with Beryl, they try to put this very conventionally attractive woman in Truman's office so that he can get with her. They do everything they can to pacify Truman, to make his life convenient, to keep him in this world. They even miraculously bring his father back from the dead. And for what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that he cannot engage with actual reality, so that he cannot pursue the things that really matter to him. Our consumerist world puts so much pressure on us to exist within its own confines for two reasons. So that we can't engage with actual reality and make meaningful change. And two, because we are the vehicle for so much profit. We buy in to the consumerism. We are all Truman. And one question that remains unanswered after the Truman Show: what is the economic impact to the world of the Truman Show after the show ends and Truman leaves? They said that just the show alone has like the GDP of a small country. That country ceased to exist at the end of the Truman Show. And that is kind of a hidden problem that isn't explored, and also a challenge to our own reality. To fight against the very system that keeps us pacified and a lot of times makes us feel unhappy. To break that would be, I think, catastrophic to our way of life.
What if the reason everything feels fake isn't because you're depressed? What if the environment changed and nobody told you? Like, I really want you to think about it.
Yeah.
Like, what if your intuition isn't acting up? What if it's picking up on something that your mind, your conscious mind couldn't fully explain yet? Because listen, people keep saying, I don't feel myself. I don't recognize people anymore. Time feels weird. Nothing excites me the same. And everybody keeps blaming trauma, burnout. What if it's simpler and way scarier?
Mm-hmm.
What if the frequency changed?
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
Human
What if
resonance,
the background
everything.
signal that we live inside, what if it shifted?
Truly.
And the human nervous system hasn't caught up yet? That would explain the anxiety spikes with no trigger.
Mm-hmm.
That would explain why your sleep feels off even when you're tired. That will explain why people are disassociating and others are waking up all the way up.
Yeah.
Because when a signal changes, the receivers don't all adjust the same.
Nope.
Some people glitch out. Some people start questioning everything. And notice who's struggling the most. People that are glued to their screens. People that are constantly distracted. The people who never freaking sit in silence. Because silence is where you notice the interference. I promise you. And that is why nobody talks about this. Because the moment you sit still long enough to feel it, you can't unfeel it. So if lately you've been craving quiet, nature, solitude, truth, real conversations, if you've been pulling away from the noise instead of chasing it, that's calibration. And before somebody says that's crazy, ask yourself this. When was the last time this many people felt the same unexplainable shift at the same time? Yeah, exactly. So some people are going to say these are all just conspiracy theories. Others are going to say there's some truth to all of it or truth to some of it. You know, it's funny. I heard a quote not long ago and it went, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just early. And I thought that was so funny because, you know, there are so many things out there.
My goodness, that was too funny. Sorry, I had to write that down really quick. That was just too good.
There that I feel the same way about. It's like, yeah, right here. You know, but in all seriousness, there are a lot of things that are considered conspiracy theories, and then later on, you know, once the mainstream media actually talks about it, all of a sudden it's not a conspiracy theory anymore.
Nope, not anymore.
So, and I'm not saying everything in, you know, that people were saying in these videos is true or not true. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just presenting the information that people are sharing and letting you make your own opinions, letting you be your own judge of, you know, any of these circumstances or any of these situations, any of these experiences. As always, let me know your thoughts down below. I really want to know if you think that any of these are true, or maybe there are some other conspiracy theories that, you know, you are believing in or are trying to spread awareness of. It's just really interesting to see that there are more and more people spreading this information. Let me know down below what you think. Also, I have a new podcast that my husband and I have started, the New Exodus podcast. If you haven't checked that out yet, go ahead and look down the links below for that. I'll also pin the link to it in the comment section, but it's the New Exodus podcast. And we talk about all of this stuff and real world events and our thoughts and what we're doing to prepare for these upcoming years. We talk about all of that on this new podcast, and I hope to see you there. Thank you for watching this video, and until the next one, take care.
Seriously. And just so you guys know, if you want to go check her out on the Tube of You, make sure you look for a homestead journey. And yeah, she did a really good job on that video, compiling this, because like I said, like, both my daughters and I noticed this and began to discuss it, and we're all on the same page, on the same wavelengths. And before she even brought it up, I just felt like I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, or, you know, that I was crazy, because everybody knows I am, but I ain't gonna admit to that. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting discussion, to say the least, and hopefully you see it too. A lot of us are waking up. A lot of us have been awake for a very long time, even before we were a twinkle in our daddy's eye. But yeah, the world's crazy out there. Let's see what else we can find here. Right, I've got a couple TikToks that I want to play for you guys too.
There was an enormous shift in consciousness back in 2020, and it changed everything. The awakening globally is speeding up. Here are some things that you might be experiencing and why. Number one, time feels distorted. Speeding up, slowing down, days disappear, weeks vanish at a time.
Oh, yeah.
You are no longer locked in linear time. Welcome to quantum flow. Number two, the past feels like a dream. You cannot fully connect to who you were pre-2020 because that version of you no longer exists. Number three, people you once cared for now feel like strangers. It's not personal. They're staying in the old energy and you're moving into the new. Number four, you crave simplicity and nature more than ever. This is your nervous system detoxing from a hyper-stimulated world that no longer matches your frequency. And number five, you are questioning everything. Systems, structures, authority, reality, truth. This is your soul waking up and not you losing control.
You feel like the last 4 years of your life since 2020 haven't really felt like actual reality, this video is for you. I've seen a lot of videos on here, particularly from millennials, about how life since 2020 just hasn't, we almost can't even remember it. It doesn't really feel like it's been reality, and it's feel like it's been erased from our actual life. This is a very real phenomenon. It's something I've experienced myself, and I want to talk about it and hopefully help people out with it. The cause of this phenomenon is the fact that we're not living life in reality anymore. 2020 smashed our existences into our phones and into the digital world, and we are no longer existing in our physical space and only dealing with problems that are within our circle of influence. We are living in a digital world that isn't even real. It's basically a video game, okay? And we're also exposed to all of the awful things that everybody across the entire world deals with all the time. We are still organic beings, and our brains have become completely connected to this artificial device. That's what's destroying it. We're not cyborgs. We'll eventually be cyborgs. We're not cyborgs yet. So the fact that our entire existence is attached to this piece of technology is awful. And even in situations where we actually live life, where we break out of our routine, where we go on a trip, where we, whatever, take a vacation, you're still locked into your same cycle of unhealthy behaviors. Even if you go on a trip, the whole time you're thinking about your phone, what's happening in the phone, what are you missing out on social media? Oh, well, people are going to love this trip I'm on. I got to make sure I take videos and I post it and I get likes and all this stuff. We are no longer actually living life.
Okay, so for me, excuse me, the whole pictures and videos thing, I don't share even a fraction of what I take as far as pictures and video, and I believe that stems from loss in my life, like losing my mom when I was 5, almost 6, trying to retain her in my memory as far as what she looks like. So videos and photographs were very important. And then we lost the videos and just had the photographs, and that was one thing I really, really held on to, and that was really important to me. Nothing to do with Facebook or anything like that.
In our physical space, we are living life through the phone. This is why life does not feel like reality. It's because we're not in reality anymore. Life just seems to basically disappear when you're trapped in a routine. We are all in a routine of our brains being just completely connected to whatever is happening within this device. And on top of that, we all experience all the issues that go on in the world all the time. That's not healthy, okay? If it's not within your circle of influence, you really should not allow it to have any sort of impact on your emotional health. And here's the tip that I hope helps everybody. I want to remind you, it has an off button. You can turn it off. If you turn it off, it doesn't exist anymore. But this is the difficult part. You're addicted. You're addicted to the phone. You're addicted to the dopamine all the little things give you. Okay?
I'm not even on my phone.
You're a drug addict. So what you need to do, that is
my
the
phone's
challenge.
for music.
Shut the phone off. Bring yourself back into your physical space. Focus on the things that physically are in front of you and finding joy in those things again. The love you have surrounded by, you're surrounded by, your friends, your family, your dog, your cat, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't feel like any of those things needs to be compromised with filming it, or like, oh, other people need to experience this with me. No, they don't. Live life in your physical space. Find joy again in the things that are in your physical space. And don't let the robot be responsible for what makes your brain feel good, because it's artificial. It's not actually really making your brain feel good. And for every little hit of dopamine that you get from a like or whatever, it also destroys and makes you feel like everything in the world is awful all the time. Because that's most of the content that floats to the top of social media, is just inflammatory and designed to get you stressed out and anxious. So go live life in your physical space. Find a way to enjoy the things within your physical space again. Know that most of your perceived threats and anxiety exist in this phone, and if you shut it off, they're gone. And maybe go hug your dog, okay?
Yeah, for me, let me switch. I turn my phone on silent because it makes me jump. It freaks me out if my phone rings or swings or whatever. And I look at it to make the post of the day as far as what the universe is saying. And it's a full moon, which tonight was. It was a beautiful full moon. And, yeah, the world's a very, very strange yet beautiful place. You guys partake in the wolf moon. Very, very awesome, amazing lunar activity going on out there. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight and listening to all this crazy shenanigans. I figure tomorrow night we'll do a little Stephen King. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, or send me an email at weareparadoxmedia@gmail.com, and I will definitely take that into consideration. Thank you to all my friends out there, wherever you may be listening Beyond the Omniverse tonight. Don't forget, we are all in this together. Together we can make the world better, and together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. Of course, if you have the means, ability, etc. to help me out as far as keeping this afloat, I would really appreciate it. If you can afford it, fling or sling some green my way, to P.O. Box 663, Bayfield, Colorado 81122, Cash App $TessaTNT, PayPal at TessaTNT. 9911 Light, you guys take care of my use. Make sure you go out and check out that full moon, and come on back for tomorrow night. We'll read some Stephen King. You like it darker.